Jake Lloyd Bacon, did you hear the news about John Cena?
Yes, Scott Narver, Cena is retiring.
So who should John Cena's last match be against?
Oh my God, so many options. The Undertaker.
No, he can't do it. The Undertaker's retired.
Mick Foley.
No, Mick Foley can't do it. He's retired.
Oh shit. Okay, let's think here. Oh, I got it. Ric Flair.
Perfect. Ric Flair never wants to retire.
Book it, Conrad.
John Cena's retirement tour and Money in the Bank review today on Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
Welcome to the old PWP program, the PWPP.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I was welcoming the listeners, but you know what? Welcome.
Yeah, that wasn't specific.
Welcome
You were
to
just
you as well.
welcoming. You addressed me, then you welcomed me.
If
You're welcome.
if you want to watch this live as we record these episodes and see how sexy we are, well, then you got to become a patron over at patreon.com/PWPalskis and get access to the exclusive live stream. Thanks to everybody who joins us for the live stream in real time. And of course, we must acknowledge our current PWP World Champ record. Third consecutive month as champion, Gilbert Short, a.k.a. Goliathon. If you would like to challenge Gil, if you would like to step up and be the one to dethrone the record longest reigning champ of all time, well, then you got to become a championship tiered Palski over at patreon.com/PWP.
If you're happy with just making an enemy instead of a friend, because that's what you're doing. No one goes into the Royal Rumble and then throws somebody out and goes like, we're friends now, right?
Hey, but everybody loves a frenemy. Everybody, that's how wrestling works. It's like we were so angry at each other that we grew a mutual respect, and now we're friends.
I don't see Drew McIntyre and CM Punk being all buddy-buddy.
Oh, they're
yet.
going to be a tag team in like 3 years.
What?
Who's that? This is actually a fun game. Like, how many rivalries turned into tag teams at some point? I feel like there's a lot of them.
At some point?
No, like almost immediately after. There's got to be a good amount of like.
Well, DIY.
That doesn't count.
Well, they had the whole thing that they were feuding and they hated each other and kill each other.
They started as a tag team, though.
Yeah. And then they had a big falling out over, I don't know what. Like, Johnny Gargano left a bunch of Disney toys in Ciampa's locker or something.
Yeah. And Johnny Gargano started getting jealous of Ciampa's crutches. He was like, "You have the best crutches. Give me some crutches. I want crutches too." And he was like, "You want a crutch? I'm sick of it. Here, boom." Gave him a crutch or a cross up.
He's like,
face.
"And I bet you're jealous that I have wife Candice LeRae." And Ciampa's like, "No, not at all.
No, we're good. I'm good on
Not
that.
in the slightest." He's like, "Yeah, well, you're looking at her. Nope. Something with her? No.
Did you say something with her?
Yeah.
Something with her?
Something? You're jealous in some way of me with her? No."
Scott Narver, as of time of recording, last night was Money's in the Banks. Money's in the Bank.
Oh, you talking about Voight International?
Voight International presents Money's in the Banks.
Is that going to stay on there? The sponsorship on the briefcase?
No,
Is
because
Tiffany
it's
gonna be-
Tiffany. I was gonna say it's already gone. We're not gonna see the briefcase. No, she's gonna make it all blinged out and Tiffy timed.
Yeah, Tiffy Voight International timed.
Maybe. You're really quiet. I don't.
They
know
could do
if
the whole
you're-
Seinfeld thing again. It'd be like, this briefcase was owned by John Voight. I'm like, it's not the same spelling. It's John Voight. And she'll find a pencil inside the briefcase and it'll have teeth marks in it.
Who do you think? What previous contract holder do you think was the one who was chewing the pencils? That seems like a real Bailey move.
John Voight.
Oh, it was specifically Voight. Oh, okay. In this instance, he was the previous owner of the briefcase.
Specifically John Voight. Like Triple H, like Stephanie is telling him like, oh my God, have you seen the show Seinfeld? It's on Netflix. The thing that you guys are going to be on. Have you seen this? And then he's going to start getting Seinfeld ideas from Stephanie and throwing them into the creative.
I mean, there are plenty that would be fucking prime wrestling storylines. I mean, I could definitely see Judgment Day doing the masturbation contest.
Oh, sure.
And the best part about it is that R-Truth will show up and be the one who puts the money down and goes, I'm out. And they're like, you weren't even part of the contest. It's like, we just came up with it right now. If we're talking about it. When did you have time?
I still did it.
When did you have time?
CM Punk will, chase down some old lady for a marble rye. That'll happen.
Right. Who has the foot race?
Who would have the foot race?
I mean, that seems like Drew. Like Drew has the foot, like, because that's Drew and Punk.
Okay.
You're such a dick. I could beat you in a foot race. Listen, all we're saying is that let's not overlook the amount of storyline available to us to borrow. Wrestling is borrowed from a million other things. Why not comedy sitcoms? They've stolen from
often
movies,
steal pop culture,
video games. Yeah, 100%.
Things instead of just flat out stories.
Yeah. Well, anyways, last night was Money's in the Bank. Lots of stuff happened. I don't know. Did you want to get into some news stuff, or do you want to go right into?
There's really not. Like I figured we review the show.
Oh, okay.
And there's a big news item that comes from
all right
Money in the Bank, but otherwise it's a pretty slow news week, and we both watched it.
Okay.
So I feel like why not review it?
All righty. Sounds delightful. Did you see the entirety of the show?
No.
What did you see?
I did not. One small gripe just about, I guess, Peacock in its current form with WWE PLEs. So it had been going on for a little bit, and I realized, like, I was getting all these notifications on Discord. I was like, what is going on? And it didn't click. I didn't remember that Money in the Bank was yesterday, and I saw people just talking about it. I go, oh, I need to turn it on. Probably about an hour and a half in. So, you can only join live when it's going on. So I tried to rewind as much as I could, but I couldn't tell if it was the start of the show or not because I didn't get the opening intro, and it started at the men's Money in the Bank. So I was watching it, and I paused it for a moment to go do something, came back, unpaused it, skipped
and it
far
caught
ahead.
up live. It came to live, yeah.
And I couldn't rewind anymore. And
interesting.
so I was like, all right, well, this stinks. I guess I have to keep watching. So every time I try to go back or catch up, it would skip me forward even further to just like, and this thing happened.
Right.
A big spoiler.
Of course. It's always like the last ending of the match or something, or you hear the music playing of the winner and you're like, God damn it.
Something or a graphic, and I go, all right, well, okay. And so I was waiting for the replay to pop up, and the replay doesn't pop up for a while. And now they've added the post show.
And it's like all part of the same
feed.
I know. That's absurd.
So that also screws up the time of when you can watch the replay. Because then I have to wait for the post show to end because it's all still part of the same feed. So then when I'd go and check it, it doesn't say it's the post show, but I'd click on it and then I'd see another spoiler of someone sitting on the fucking
well, because
in front of the media.
That's the same thing with the pre-show too, is all part of the broadcast, which is like, there's been times where I've turned it on, it said like started 2 hours ago, and I went like, oh shit, I had the time wrong. And it's like, no, that was the pre-show has been on for 2 hours. But although I'm not sure, I didn't know that you could not just rewind the live. I guess I've never tried it, so I assumed you could. But yeah, maybe you just can't rewind
up to a point.
Gotcha.
But it seems to have an allotment of how much you can rewind it.
Maybe because it's live.
This PLE.
Yeah, because it's live, you're not streaming. It's not like the file has been downloaded because there is no file yet. Maybe that's why you can't retain that.
it's weird because even if there's something crazy happening and you want to rewind it, you might lose out on the show or it skips you ahead. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little wonky.
It's a little unfortunate. And then the replay took a long time to finally pop up.
I do remember that
in the feed.
The last pay-per-view because I didn't watch it live. And I remember like even the next morning, it wasn't there yet. And I was like, what the fuck? But well, so you saw bits and pieces of a lot of it.
I saw the majority of it. There's one match that I skipped because it was getting so late and I wasn't terribly interested in it, but we'll get there when we get there. But did you watch it in full?
Yeah. And some of it I was, engaged. I went to, my cousin Paul's and we just kind of hung out and we were all, so some of it I was like half watching, the same way was things I was a little less invested in. But I saw, the vast majority of the stuff that I came to see. It opened with the men's Money in the Bank match, which I think, it's strange that the show is named after this specific matches and that they're not the main thing of the night. Like that's just a problem with a lot of the PLEs now is that it's like, go see WWE Hell in a Cell and it opens with the Hell in a Cell match. And then it's just a regular one-on-one for the championship at the end of the night or whatever. I know that's.
Well, we can't say that now.
I know, but.
Under the Triple H.
Sure.
Paul Levesque, Triple H era.
Sure. But
this one is one.
Right.
Where.
But it also part of this whole shtick is like, hey, they might cash it in the same night. So it does also make sense to do it early in the night. That way there's, some mystery and excitement and later in the evening. But starts with the men's match. And
but they can still call somebody out. Like, hey, are you back there? I'm challenging you to do a match right now.
Yeah, but then you're exhausted. That's the opposite of being opportunistic.
The women's winner wasn't. She missed out on all the crazy bumps.
That's why she won. So men's Money in the Bank match, I thought it was insane. I thought it was fun. I thought Chad Gable's like that dude. I am a little worried that we're gonna get a repeat of what happened with Cesaro all those years ago, where it's like he has all the same things. Puts on great matches. His like feats of strength are insane. I hope that they do something well with this guy because he's so good. There were a few of those spots though with him and Andrade, were just brutal. I'm a little worried that like I know this is a thing that we've talked about for years, but it's like we don't always have to find something new to do. And that's a problem. Is because at some point the ante has to get up to the point where it's like someone's gonna die. Like we're gonna kill somebody.
Yeah, we don't always have to find something new to do, and we always don't have to repeat the spots in both men's and women's match.
That's a whole other conversation, of course. But yeah, that's why that's the difficulty of doing these both on the same night. But yeah,
it was pretty good. I like the story that they were telling with Drew McIntyre has scoffed at Money in the Bank and he didn't like it, and he's been cashed in on twice. So now he's going to turn it all around and he's going to be the guy to get it and do all that. Because otherwise I thought Chad Gable seemed like a lock to get it.
Right. 100%.
But I liked the presentation of him. That moment of Chad Gable gets the ladder taken away and he's hanging off of
oh my God,
the rung. And they normally, when it's just the briefcase or something that's just hanging there like a title, you could still grab it and eat shit.
Right.
And they didn't do it, but now they talk about that it's
the
clasp.
Yeah, the mountaineer's hook, the like big carabiner.
Yeah, the carabiner. So he can't do it. He's not able to do it, so he's hanging on and just having to make a decision, and he falls and just eats shit.
But the fact that he did a front bump, he didn't go. I mean that was hard. I gasped like a little. I clutched my pearls like a little old lady. It was. You could ask Alessandra. Like I was. It was the entire ending series of that where it was like, Gable doing the belly to belly release to I think it was LA Knight up and over the ropes to the ladder on the outside. That was fucking brutal. And then he goes up and Jay takes it from him. He's dangling, takes that bump. Jay climbs and then gets bashed in the face with a fucking rocket ladder from Drew. Like
that was cool.
All of these things in
the
rapid
simplicity of I'm just going to throw another ladder at you.
But like not horizontally the way that they do, like the short end, fuck, that was I mean, and that looked bad, like in a good, like in the way that that a fight is supposed to look.
It looked practically
gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was concerned for everybody's health for the entire, like for the last like 5 to 10 minutes of this match when they really just went, all right, we're going fucking ape shit. I was concerned that like I was concerned twice the same evening for everybody's health in the match, but for two completely different reasons. In the men's match, I was concerned for their health because I thought like, you don't have to do this. You're going to kill yourself.
Well, it still seemed like controlled chaos to me, with the exception of Chad Gable going, I'm going to do a belly flop. And that's like everybody around the pool going like, check this out, guys. And then he decides to do that. And then afterwards goes, why did I do it that way? It was such a terrible idea.
And what's crazy is that he didn't just do it and then die. He did it and then immediately stood upright to take a spear, right? Was it a spear? He took something from Jake, maybe a super kick.
Yeah.
Something like that. Dude, this guy's fucking
You can just
insane.
roll out.
That dude is nuts. He's absolutely nuts, and I'm here for it. I thought it was his, yeah. You know who I was a little disappointed of in the match? I thought we would see more from, is it Carmelo Hayes? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I really, when I saw that he was in the match, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a highlight reel for this kid. And I felt like I don't recall any really big moment out of his.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's still pretty green.
Sure.
He's still, I don't dislike him or anything, but it seems so early in his career. Right. It seems like so much stuff hasn't clicked yet. He's very athletic, no doubt, sure. But who isn't at this point? I mean, you can watch Otis do a bunch of crazy shit. But when he's walking to the ring and he sees the ladder and then he does like a spin past it, like, I can't get me ladder. I go, you're going to look back at that and go, what the hell was that? That was not.
Can't get me ladder. No cool. Touchies. He's like, I don't mess with ladders. They're bad luck. Like, bet you're in a ladder match.
Yeah, and LA Knight already did the duck under the ladder. Like, I don't care.
LA Knight was great. LA Knight and Jay, they had some really fun moments in this where like they're two baby faces who everybody likes and they have a mutual respect, but it's every man for themselves. It was, I did enjoy that. The whole like, yeah, yeet, punch back and forth. I was like, all right, like as long as it didn't take over the match, which it didn't,
And at some point the crowd's going to just go ravenous if LA Knight doesn't get something.
It is true. They definitely going to need to pull that switch soon or else the fatigue is just going to be,
And it's going to be hard. Yeah. How often does one pull a switch?
Yeah. I don't know. I've pulled quite a few switches in my days.
Got to knock that button?
No, you pull the switch from the tree. You pull the switch down. See, I changed the syntax of, changed the definition of switch and then I made it make
child
sense.
Abuse.
I went back and made it make sense for me.
But it's good. Overall, Drew ends up taking it.
And it was good. I really did enjoy this. This was a really fun ladder match, although it was a little scary. There were moments where I went like, oh my gosh, it's dangerous. So dangerous.
See, I've felt that way later, but
same, but for different reasons.
But it was, I think it told a good enough story for these that, I mean, we've seen so many Money in the Bank matches. Mm-hmm. I kind of burn out in general.
Yeah.
That I feel like, give me till the second half. I don't.
Yep.
Of it. It doesn't.
They don't need to be as long as they are by any means.
They don't need to be as long as they are. I don't feel like they even need to have as many competitors as they do anymore. Well, I like the build up to it that they did a good job playing up the tournament aspect to it, right? All the matches to get to it. Qualifying. I don't love that it was all triple threats, but it was still. It was a big deal that you got in it.
I will say they did knock it down because I'm pretty sure there were I could be wrong, but I thought there was a couple years there where it was like 8 fucking people in this match.
I think so.
And the fact that there was,
but still 6 seems like
I know, lot. But at least we're making progress. But this literally could be a 4 corner, and it would be fine. But it's just the concept of the ladder match being that like. All you have to do. It sounds easy because it is compared to like how the beat, but it's like it's a scramble, not a championship scramble. I know, but like it's a scramble, and so this just once. I'd love a ladder match to be fucking 4 minutes long because somebody just fucking got it. Like
sure,
it's never happened, and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Especially when there are 6 people in it. Because inevitably
Yes.
at some point, 5 people are fucking knocked out, and one person's like, "Oh shit, I don't have to
That's
slow
how you
walk."
win the games in
Right.
WWE 2K24.
Yeah, just
Eventually,
wait.
it's like everyone's doing a move that takes too long, and then you can finally do the little.
They're stuck in an
spinning
animation.
around, and then the little ball goes in.
But all in all, I did enjoy it. It was a fun match.
And it made sense that it was Drew, served a purpose.
Yeah, totally.
And you're just excited for the idea of like, now what? Is Punk going to come out right now and just open up the briefcase and take out the paper?
Right.
Like, what's going to happen? Does he work for Voight International and he's going to deny him his briefcase? But then we had our Intercontinental match. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker.
This was great. Braun, he's really growing on me. I still think that he's far too orange, and it's hard to take him seriously when he's that color. But
what? You just have another hot dog shirt out of this whole thing.
He's beyond hot dog, because hot dogs have that like burnt reddish.
Is it beyond hot dog? So
Beyond
he's one
Meat.
of the vegan
Impossible
hot dogs.
hot dog. Pot dog. But he's like legitimately orange. He's like,
that's RVD.
Fucking just, it's the worst. But I honestly did not think that Sami was going to retain, so I was so excited when he did, especially because I thought, no, it's too early for Braun. I'm like, I like what they've done with him so far, but I don't think he's Intercontinental yet, especially considering it was just Gunther not that long ago and all these other people. Like, I don't know. I felt like I was so excited when Sami retained, and it was a great match, and everybody looked great. Like, Sami did a good job of making Braun look like a fucking monster, but also Sami looks great, like that fighter you can't put
Braun
down.
doesn't need anyone to do that,
Well,
though.
sure. Yeah, I dug it.
He's I was the opposite end of you, where I felt like, oh man, Sami retained, but they did it in such a good way that he got him with the kick.
Right. Also,
Braun was, this big spotlight for him, and he excelled to do the move again. I don't know at what point it's going to be scary or you can't do it anymore, Braun. His immediate leap up to the top rope to stand there and then do a fucking snap Frankensteiner so fast.
Right, yeah.
It's insane how he does it.
I mean, it won't be until he starts missing it. Like, remember Kofi's jump into the corner on the guy's shoulders facing? Remember how he used to do that for a while? So if somebody's leaning on the turnbuckle, right, facing the ring, Kofi would just jump up and just sit on their shoulders and just start punching them and then do like a moonsault. And then like there were like maybe there was like 6 or 7 in a row that he didn't get the height on, and he was just like sloppy. And then I was like, all right, we took that move out of the repertoire. Started kicking people in the face and kneeing people in the chins and shit. But but it was great. And also considering, all the times they've had Sami lose in front of hometown crowds, I was like, yeah, give Sami his hometown victory.
That's not his hometown.
Sure, Canada though, in general, I mean, his home country. You're so upset. Okay. What was next?
Not everybody needs a win where they're from or near where they're from.
I agree, but
they just need to be on the card.
All right.
This is more I see that in the Discord all the time. Like, I can't believe that they lost in their hometown. Yeah, they had a match in their hometown.
I never think that. I can't believe they won in their hometown, because WWE loves beating people in their hometowns because it creates heat.
Do both.
Because it creates great heat.
They do both.
Sure.
I bet if you looked at a chart of like all the times of all those matches of like, are they going to win or they're not going to win in their hometown? Like, it's right down the middle.
Don't give me a spreadsheet task.
I did.
Alrighty, I'm writing it down.
I gave you a spreadsheet task.
Let me write it down.
So what's next? The announcement, or was it?
I don't remember the order.
The match.
I might have to pull it up.
Looking for a breakdown here. Well, let's go to Forbes, my news site. Oh, thinking about it now, it's kind of weird. No Logan Paul on this show. Seems like he's been everywhere.
They don't let him in.
But
maybe they didn't let him into Canada.
Well, they got other people into Canada, and they made a big deal about it. I don't trust any of these breakdowns I'm getting from any of the other sites. All right. Well, we'll just go with, it was the the match next before everyone gets super bummed out.
Was it a tag title match, maybe?
No, it's Damian Priest versus Seth freaking Rollins.
Oh, okay, that happened that quickly. Okay.
So this was the match I skipped.
Got it.
Because it was already getting late, and I don't care about either guy too much. And from the time that I fast forwarded and then hit play to see what ended up happening, I go, I'm glad I skipped all this, because what a huge fuck up.
It honestly, like, I don't dislike Seth the way that you do, and Priest has grown on me as a character, but not.
How's his teeth now? I've never paid attention. I know they used to bug you.
Yeah, I haven't. I just try to look at him when he speaks, I guess. I don't know. But I think that he's grown on me as a character, but I still don't really care about his wrestling. Like, I don't. There's a huge disconnect when I'm watching his matches for some reason, where I'm watching somebody wrestle, like do pro wrestling, if that makes sense. And this match was just, it felt real weird and real sloppy, and something was off. And then there were a couple fun spots that were the typical, like, you know, Seth's like suplex from the top rope where he hangs on and rolls over. And there's a couple of those things that are just still, to me, really fun to watch, because they're still just like, God, these guys are insanely good athletes, right? But then that whole ending was so strange. And the botch of the pin where he didn't kick out, and maybe he was supposed to, but maybe he wasn't. Like, we were all playing like, okay, what was supposed to happen? We were playing that game like.
You saw what was supposed to happen, right?
That he was supposed to just kick out, and it was it. It was just Damian didn't kick out.
No, it was supposed to be Drew's music hits,
and that interrupts the pin.
Yeah, because it's WWE. I mean, we're talking logic here. We soon have a triple threat match where the referee goes, "Well, can't enforce anything now. Everything's out the window."
Oh my God!
So it was an audio cue, because they don't kick out. They start talking to each other. Once that happens, and Priest. It's something like, I don't, blah, blah, blah. And then moments later, Drew's music hits. To me, that's what it registered as, is that it was supposed to be Drew's music hits, Seth freaks out, looks up or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they stop, because otherwise, why wouldn't Damian kick out?
I don't know. That's a great question. But I mean, Damian's getting
he wins the whole thing in the end.
Damian's getting the heat for not kicking out. And I saw there was like during the post press conference, fucking Triple H were there until 6 a.m, you know, thing that they're doing on Peacock.
Yeah.
Somebody addressed that, and he said like, hey, you know, if I know that if I was them, you know, if I was Priest or whatever, that'd be the only thing I thought of. And it's like, should have kicked out. Like, I don't know. So my interpretation was that he was supposed to kick and didn't. And then that's what, you know, there was some cross wires, but maybe it was just the music cue came too late, or I don't know. Either way, it was. Here's the thing: is I like
he wore it on his face at the end of the match for sure. He didn't hide it well at all. So clearly, a student of Shawn Michaels.
If I didn't watch this and you just told me what happened with not the botch, but like the general broad strokes of the storyline, I really like it. Like, I like that Drew poo-pooed the briefcase and the Money in the Bank, and thought it was a cheap, easy way to get a title, and then was like, screw it, I'm going to do it, and then cash in the same night, and then doesn't. He's one of the only people ever, I think, or maybe the only person ever to cash in same night and fail. And it's like, I like it, and I love that it's Punk is part of it. I love all of this. It's fucking fantastic.
I love the Rob montage of it all.
Right. Yes, that's what I mean. The broad stroke. Like,
I'm so glad I fast forwarded to this point, because I fast forwarded and got right to the pinfall and then no kick out, and I went, oh Jesus. Okay, if I had sat through 20 minutes of this and then this, I see that moment, I would have been like, I mean, maybe I'll sooner watch these guys now that I saw that rather than sit through the whole match.
Right.
But that's frustrating, and it sucks for everybody involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, Drew comes out, makes it a triple threat, starts getting the advantage. It goes back and forth a little bit, and then Punk shows up. Punk starts beating up Drew McIntyre. And I would have been so happy had this just been a disqualification,
Okay.
but it's a triple threat
Right.
in WWE. So instead, the referee goes, I only have 2 eyes. So if there's 3 guys, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything.
Is it the eyes? Is it the eyes, or is it the arms and hands? Like, I can't yell at 3 people. I can only yell at you and yell at you. If I had a third arm, then I could yell at them too.
Maybe that's what it is.
Each arm of a referee. Listen, a lot of people don't know this. I trained to be a referee, and so I'll tell you the secret. Every arm is specifically designed for one of the competitors. That's why referees in tag matches, they can never have anything under control because there's too many fucking people.
That's why you need to be in a corner, because
AEW has that problem.
you're designated to this side and that side.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. This is welcome to Wrestle Secrets. We'll tell you all the tricks.
It's a UPN show.
Yeah.
So I still don't like that part of it, because overall it's the logic of like, why didn't then Drew wait for the outcome of the match
and just take whoever just got beat? Like if Drew's whole that is a big flaw now that you say it, like, because if Drew's whole thing was like, this is a cheap, easy way to get it, why'd you make it harder on yourself?
Yeah.
Wait till somebody just takes a big finisher and then pin that person, because then the other person can't get it. Doesn't, mean anything. They're back to the back already.
Because it would have been, to me, I still think it's worthwhile if you have the match, 2 guys, Seth or Damian don't get beat, Drew comes out, and then Punk shows up, and if it had been a disqualification, okay,
right?
Then the champion retains. Drew's mad, like, and going like, wait, well, I want my Money in the Bank briefcase back. Like, you can't have it back. You got disqualified.
You cashed it in. The match is over. Yeah.
Or you got beat up, so you win the match, but you're not champion. So
exactly.
Congratulations on them winning the match.
Championship's advantage, all that nonsense. But I will say, I think they wrote themselves into you're 100% right. That would have been great. But I think the stupid stipulation, they wrote themselves into a corner that they couldn't get out of. Oh, if Seth wins and then for some reason Damian leaves his group, and if Damian wins and Seth can't challenge for the title, and they're like, well, we don't want either of those things to actually happen, so we have to create a way that there's going to be some weird, like, oh, well, I didn't, Seth can say like, you didn't beat me. That stipulation was for our one-on-one match, not for a triple threat, and you protect Damian from having to I think that they.
Oh, I'm not going to follow through on my word here.
Yes, I think they added some dumb stipulations, which maybe they realized afterwards, like, oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't great. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
But all things Punk and McIntyre,
yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love Punk in a flurry. I love him just being a fucking asshole.
I know.
He's just being an asshole.
But it's not just that he's being an asshole. It's that he's being an asshole to the perfect folly for that behavior.
Yes.
In the super serious, very upset, very angry. It's that whole thing of like, it's not fun picking on somebody who it doesn't really bother. Like, there's that, yes. like if you, they talk about this all the time. I just recently watched the Taker's show they did with Mark Henry, and they talked about how when Mark Henry first came to WWE, he hated when people ribbed him, and he got so heated to the point where he was threatening to fucking kill people. And people were like, you gotta
keep doing it.
Like, you gotta stop. And I can't remember who he said was, but somebody pulled him aside and was like, they're never gonna stop. Do you want to know why they're never gonna stop? Because you're doing what you're doing right now. And that's what it is. That's what this is on.
What a horrible backwards way of it being.
I know.
It's like, no, this man's threatening to kill you, and you're really making him mad. Why don't you guys stop?
He threatened to kill JBL. He said he pulled them under the fucking stands. I don't know where there are stands, like they're in a high school gymnasium, but he pulled them under the bleachers, and he said like, this is gonna end right now, or else I'm gonna fucking kill you. I swear to God. And he was like threatening JBL. It's like, the fuck you talking? Who are you talking to?
Come on, Mark. It's just a little poop.
Yeah, I wish I could remember who it was. Maybe he said it was Owen, maybe. I don't remember who he said it was, but he said somebody was like, dude, you gotta they're never going to give up on you if you keep being so bothered by it. And that's what Drew is right now. So it's perfect.
Yeah. And it's, there is justification in it within the story, but him just being there at these crucial moments, I don't know if they can do much more to escalate it. We're probably at the point now where we're going to get a match.
SummerSlam, right? It's got to be this big SummerSlam match.
It certainly could be. I can't wait. I love every second of their interactions.
Same.
I love the timing of it. They do enough to deflect that I don't think about Punk being involved.
Right.
Like I thought about Punk being involved in the Money in the Bank match.
Right.
But then I didn't think about it for when it becomes the triple threat.
The only other part of this that I think was done well, even though I'm not excited, I understand it's inevitable. So I'm trying to like be diplomatic in my thought process here. I'm sure you disagree because you just can't stand him. Okay. But they also, by having him involved in this moment, gave reason for him and Seth to cross paths again, which was their original plan and that heat. And even though it wasn't like a big, huge thing, it was just like a reminder to the audience. Oh boy, I almost went real Long Island. Did you hear that? I went audience. Oh, I need to get out of this fucking place. It was a little reminder to the audience that, hey, Seth, that guy that you like, even though these are both baby faces, they don't like each other. And he technically also cost Seth that match as well, just by, helping Damian. And I don't think he helped Damian intentionally. He just helped whoever wasn't Drew, and Damian happened to be in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, because I fully expected Punk to just look at him and go, fucking WrestleMania with Brock. Leave me alone. You've done this.
Right, yeah.
Now it came back around. Deal with it.
But yeah, so they did add that part of it, which is, it's nice that WWE is working. They're doing a really good job right now in the modern era of taking all of their players and all of their action figures and pieces of their puzzles and moving things around in ways that nothing feels too confined to its little box in such a way that it's hard to move on to the next thing. I feel like there's this rhythm for a little while where it's like these two people feud and then
they don't interact with anybody else. You don't know how they feel about anybody else.
And then they break off and then they're just because somebody's music hit during a promo after the pay-per-view. Now we know who their new feud is. And there's not this rolling ball of a story. It's just one story ended, new story began, and there's no seamlessness. And I like that. It feels like right now they're doing a good job of, right. And right now they're doing a good job of this sort of rolling storytelling, which I think is great. I mean, the Bloodline is a good example of that, whereas even though I lost a little bit, in my opinion, the Bloodline lost steam during the third Uso turn where it was and then it goes back again. And then it comes, that's when I was like, all right, Civil War was so good to me. That was once that's done, no more Usos in the Bloodline. And then, but one of them's still going to be in the Bloodline. I remember being like, all right, well, I'm fucking done with it. But now that you have this whole other faction that is the Bloodline and they're telling this whole story with Roman and he's not even there. Let's talk about this. For a while, Punk wasn't on TV. Rhea isn't on TV. And they're doing this whole thing with Dom and Liv. Roman's not on TV. They're doing this whole thing with the Bloodline and him. And they are making
NWO Red and Black.
Yeah, exactly. They're making people, they're making storylines for people who aren't even fucking showing up. And they're doing it better than what they used to do with people on air every fucking week.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
They're juggling really well and keeping people relevant still.
Yeah.
The major players that they go, well, they're coming back, so we need to make sure that they're still talked about rather than, well, we'll just not mention them. And then when they show up, it's a big surprise. Yeah, you can do that every so often.
Right.
But I think overall, keep them in talks.
Yeah.
Why forget?
Also, in the era of everybody knows everything because of social media and because of it's harder and harder to have those surprises. So, it always bugs me whenever somebody has a return, a surprise return, and there are people in the audience with signs of theirs. Because then I see the sign earlier in the evening and I go, all right, that person's fucking coming back.
Oh, they saw him at the airport. God damn it.
Oh, we got a little notification. I have low system resources.
Got to get more resources.
Hopefully our stream is still there. Andrew, I see you in the chat there. Tell us if our stream is still up. Anyways, moving on.
I may have had the order.
Yeah, it's fine.
You know,
whatever.
discombobulated as to where, hey, everybody, you ready to be bummed out? Okay, here we go. Well, we should also mention previous to this, the host of Money in the Bank was Trish Stratus.
Yeah, I didn't really see any of her stuff.
It's okay because they didn't really have anything of her stuff. She drove up to the arena in a car that had a license plate of Stratus, and it's like, you're kind of an asshole. And
that's not true. I've seen your Narvard license plate. Don't fucking pretend like you don't have a vanity plate of your own last name.
I wouldn't have a Stratus one.
No, because your name isn't Stratus.
That's my real name.
Got it. Scott Stratus. It's actually a pretty good name.
It's not bad. I could be a long lost cousin.
Scott Stratus.
Scott Stratus. So she'd also done something. I don't know. My feed was so jumbled with what I watched. She did something backstage with one of the interviewers, and then Tiffany Stratton had shown up.
Yeah, but was that post her winning the top? I was post the Money in the Bank, I think, because I remember.
Oh, okay.
I think it was after the win.
Well, so there's just that, and then when she comes out for the show, it's like, ladies and gentlemen, the host of Money in the Bank, fucking Trish Stratus. She comes out and like, hey, everybody, I did some things here. I was born here, and one time I guested with someone as a mystery partner. So here's 16-time world champion John Cena. Bye.
There you go.
I guess I'm not doing anything because they found something better.
Right.
It was such a strange thing.
Right.
Why bother with this? You got Trish Stratus. You're making a big deal of it. Like, why not utilize that? I understand the John Cena thing, so either do one or the other.
Yeah.
That was bizarre. That seemed pointless.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they just like, well, we want Trish to show up. It's Canada. Fucking, I don't know. Get people to tune in who remember her or like her. I don't know.
But do something with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Have her get involved in the women's ladder match. It wasn't messy enough.
She didn't even talk with Cena. She didn't even say, because I'm bringing out John Cena, there's a major stipulation which he will address.
They didn't even have a high five on the way.
Nothing. No hugs.
Well,
so Cena comes out, and
I was going to ask
before he announces anything, you can just read him.
Before we do this, do you want to just save Cena to the end since we can talk more about his announcement and what's ahead?
Sure.
I think maybe we'll just clean up. We'll just finish up our Money in the Bank, and then we'll come back to Cena. Does that sound like a plan?
Sure.
We're going a little long here anyway. So then what we had? Then we had the tag title match.
The women's Money in the Bank.
Oh, right.
Tag title match.
Oh no, that happened on SmackDown. Never mind. I conflated the two. I think there was a title match on SmackDown. Never mind. So yeah, we had
conflator.
Oh my God. So this was the second time in the evening that I was really concerned for people's health, but for a different reason. I was concerned that the men were doing things that were like not smart and it's not safe to do.
Mostly Andrade, really.
Mostly Andrade, and also fucking.
It seems like the only way he can get time off, he's like, well, I got to break my neck.
Right, I got to break my coccyx. And then the women's ladder match started, and within 3 minutes, nearly 4 people died. And I mean, like it was so sloppy, so dangerous. The timing was so off. Everybody was just. It was really bad. It was really, really, really bad that I was just like, okay, wrap it up, finish it up, go right to the end. Because I was so concerned that it started so bad that whatever that performance anxiety is in any of the participants who were having the problems, that you weren't going to be able to recover. And it was just going to get worse and worse and worse. But the spots that they had planned were more and more dangerous as they went.
Yeah. And also physics are not on their side.
Jeez Louise. When
you have the bird person, what's her name?
The bird person? Who the fuck is the bird person?
In the black?
Oh, Valkyria. Taya Valkyria? I forget what her first name is. Is it Tyra?
Via Calmaria.
It's Valkyria. That's the part it's easy to remember.
Kira Malvaria.
Kira Valkyria. Or Kyra? I don't remember.
No.
It's Valkyria. Her last name is Valkyria. You keep saying that.
I know,
but
it can't be Kira Valkyria.
Why not?
Because there's too many Kiras.
There's too many fucking Y's in the whole thing anyway. You think they care about too much of something? Is a goddamn fucking
Yes.
retribution name that we gave to somebody. Lyra Valkyria, maybe?
That sounds right.
Yes, Lyra. Lyra. Lyra Valkyria. Or Lyra, depending on who's saying it. Some people say Lyra Valkyria, and some people say Lyra Valkyria. Because
I regret not fast forwarding this match.
Suicide in the chat. Probably the second we started having this conversation corrected us, and we both didn't look at it. We've probably just been arguing for no reason. Thanks, Suicide. We appreciate you.
Rarely do I get uncomfortable in matches to the point where I don't want to watch it, because usually I have the mindset of something terrible is going on.
Right, train wreck.
Or people are doing something so stupid, like with light tubes or anything like that. Generally with men, my outlook is, you're an idiot, and that's fine. You do whatever it is. Don't hurt anybody in the crowd.
Right.
And ideally, don't hurt the ref. But if you two want to do something so stupid and hurt each other, go ahead. When I see this, I think like, I don't know if they are all on board or if it's the pressure of you. If you want this spot, like you have to do this crazy stunt show. When ladder stuff, when it occurred, when it was Brett who first did it.
Right.
And I think Bad News Brown,
right.
Not Barrett. It was about coming up with some original idea and doing something different. And then Sean did it. And then it's the idea of like, all right, these guys are so good, they can make a ladder work
right.
in a match.
Right.
Like that's how good they are. They can take it an inanimate object and make something special out of it. You had Razor into the fold and, you know, just sparsely here and there of the people that are so good and so creative. But then it turns into, well, now everybody uses this.
It's like we've reverse
Not
engineered
everyone should.
it. Yeah, like it used to be, oh, this person is going to do this thing that they do, or they have an idea for, or it's like they've got to a point where this is the next step in what they're doing, where it's now we're reverse engineering it. We're taking anybody who's, you know, earns the ability to go try this thing. And somebody in the chat, I'm sorry, not the chat, in the Discord, I apologize who it was. I don't remember, but somebody mentioned something about like, oh, you know, nobody pulled the Bray Wyatt. There was that story about when the first time Becky Lynch was in a table match, she mentioned to somebody, or maybe it was Bray himself, like, I don't know how to set up a table. I've never done this before. And Bray took her aside and like, oh, let me show you. And like practice with her and like did
put
movements.
her through.
Yeah, put her fucking through. And the reality too is like, in my opinion, the worst of it was probably oh shit, what's her name? I'm blanking on her name. The one I say looks like, I like her a lot. She's a good
Lyra Valkyria.
No, she wasn't great, but the other one,
Zoe Stark.
Yes, Zoe Stark. Has Zoe Stark ever been in a ladder match before? Same thing with Lyra Valkyria though. Like, and it's a matter of like,
She doesn't even know how to do Lord Tensai's makeup. Did you see how shitty that turned out?
what, the 3 lines?
Yeah, that's not it at all.
I don't think that's what she was aiming for personally, but you know,
Clearly, because she didn't hit it.
A part of me does feel like, you know, is this so foreign that we didn't work on this? Can you work on this? But then also,
should everyone be involved
right,
in this?
Well, and also though, some of the things that were problems didn't really even involve the ladders.
Yeah.
Some of them were just regular moves, and the ladder was going to be below them when they landed. But
a miss.
There was a lot of
cracking your head,
dangerous spots that I went,
or with Lyra, one of the times when she gets dumped on it, and she weighs so much less
right.
that the ladder's going, and then she's going,
yeah.
and then there could have been bouncing up and over to the outside, or who knows what. Like you can't control it when you're seeing an LA Knight or Carmelo Hayes was kind of iffy in his weight. Like he's hitting on something and he's kind of grab it on the way down. But some of the guys can at least be leveled out by they hit it and then they're not bouncing.
You got someone climbing on a ladder right over you right now.
I know
that was really shocking. Sushi Pants just like leaped up to the back of his chair for the listeners who aren't watching. And it was and then immediately ascended the ladder of her own. And now she's licking her belly. Okay. Anyways, you were saying. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm like the dog from Up.
it's not a gigantic advantage overall, but when you can at least eliminate the factor of, oh, I might bounce somewhere else.
The physics
be out
of
of control,
right?
because because they weigh so much less.
Right.
That was scary. The people cracking their heads were scary.
Yeah.
The escalations is going to get more and more and more. That's scary. Multiple ladders.
The times that they would try to set something up, but like they have this plan, but it's not quite going right, so they have to move something over. And like I will say, like the match ended a lot better than it started as far as people's ability, but it was still like there was still something amiss. And I think a lot of it was that there were strict plans. Things are not being called on the fly here for I'm sure justifiable reasons backstage. Like I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why we have to think about what we're doing, but it doesn't seem like if something isn't going right that we're course correcting properly. Instead,
just cutting stuff out.
Or that's part of it. Absolutely. There's that one spot where I think it might have been. Oh, it was Io, because her sell was fucking hilarious to me. Where Io, I think she did maybe like a sunset flip,
pile driver type thing.
Yeah. But then like the ladder moves out of the way and like she lands on her butt, and then she like the way that she sold it, where she was just folded holding her ass. That was very funny.
It's like the sort of Shinsuke fall over entrance.
She's
thing.
Scorpion,
She's all
but on her
bent
back,
up on herself.
Yeah, totally. And she was just holding her butt below. I'm not gonna lie, that I was like, that's a great sell.
Yeah, that's something they can show in a replay.
Yeah.
I think the other factor that was disappointing wasn't the wrestlers, it was the crowd.
They got really into it at the end.
Yeah, but this is my point is, in the men's Money in the Bank match happened, they chanted for tables. And then they chanted again for tables during the women's match, and then they brought tables out and they were going like, yeah!
Right.
Which, that to me is the scaling back of all this. This has gone too far, too much, because as a crowd, you're guaranteed 2 crazy ladder matches.
Right. 6 people each.
2 potential new champions in the briefcase holders, and you might get a new champion on the night, right? Like that's all the kind of tease that you get in there. But you're guaranteed 2 crazy ladder matches. You're getting something insane for your dollar. And immediately when the show starts, you're saying it's not enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ladders and everything aren't enough. The stunts they're going to do is not enough. You want tables on top of it. And then the second one occurs and things start going wrong. People start cracking their heads and you go like, yeah, we still want tables. Fuck off. All of you.
Wrestling fans we're horrible people. We're horrible people. And I mean all of you listening as well. You are. I want you to know you're not a good person. You watch this terrible thing.
Thanks for supporting us.
You literally tune in to watch people hurt themselves for your amusement. Like we are not good people.
See, I'm all for that. You can be all for the hurting themselves and like damaging, but sometimes when they go, this is what you're going to get. I mean, you're going to get an Inferno match. Cool. You don't get to ask for marshmallows.
At some point, it just becomes Jackass with a story, though. Do you know what I mean? Like where it's like,
that's fine.
What are we asking for?
Jackass had a story. How dare you?
There's a story about friendship and love and brotherhood.
But you don't get to ask for the additional things in something that they give you that's so crazy. Yeah. It's like, just take that. If they give you something else, you can go crazy for it.
In fairness, though, the table bump with Chelsea Green was probably the best moment of the match, where I was like, good spot, well set up, super smooth. I don't think she hurt herself, but it looked great. Like that was the only part I went, good job, Chelsea Green.
Yeah, the other ones though, with her finisher that she did to Naomi on the ladders,
it was terrible.
Where she's standing there, and then I thought Naomi was getting her because Naomi starts hooking her arms, and I go, "Oh, Naomi's got it." Oh, nope, Chelsea did the move, but Naomi was very helpful in just setting it up for her.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the whole match was just kind of like, it was unfortunate because I feel like there are times, if you've been following the program and you look back through the history, I might come off as a little bit sexist towards the women multi-matches because I tend to not like them. And I assure you, it has nothing to do with chromosomes or gender preferences. It
ovaries
quite simply comes down to, I think that your point about the physics of like small people specifically doing some of the things leads to more danger. And then also that, like we've mentioned before, even in like a women's triple threat match, there sometimes feels to be like a timing issue. And it's because I think women are just nicer people. They're kinder. They're trying to not hurt each other more. They're trying to be safer. Whereas guys are just like, you kick me as hard as you can in the tummy, like, and we're dumb fucking idiots. And because of that, we bash each other in the face. And then afterwards we go, great match. Yeah, you worked really stiff. And then it's a compliment, whereas the women,
Right.
It's like,
I
they're
can see
trying
that.
to make sure they can go home and not have a broken face. Because also, by the way, they all need to look really gorgeous because it's also part of their job. A guy can have a busted fucking nose and they're going to fucking, it's just going to make them
more
like
money.
Yeah, they're going to like him more. Exactly. But, if a woman gets a busted fucking face, WWE's going to be like, oh, well, you can't be on the show for a little while.
Gross. Go fix that.
Yeah. Anyways, I digress.
I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what to do. I feel bad that they have to, with half of the participants in this, like being new to the main roster, that they have to step up so much and escalate things so highly rather than, well, we hardly know you.
Yeah. And that
we've seen you in very few matches. And now you have to do something crazy where your chances are going to be forgotten about because there's also the other men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Like there's too much.
Well,
for such little reward.
There's also maybe only one or two moments to shine because there are so many people in the match. So it's not even like you put on a really good one-on-one like ladder match with somebody and you really proved yourself, or, it's a little tough.
And then, even though this, I think, was still under $3 bills for the whole show.
Felt like a long night.
To me, it felt long, but
part of that was Cena's fault, which we'll get to in a minute here.
The Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens.
These guys are all so good at what they do. I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun to me. And
back to Controlled Chaos.
Yeah.
Which felt good again. It felt there was a couple nutty moments, and I'm still not. I know Jacob Fatu. Fucking like that guy a lot. That guy's a star.
The Tongans, are still leaving a little bit to be desired.
The one that cracked his head open, hitting the announce table.
And
then
right.
Tried to punch Kevin Owens in the ass, and then went, well, that didn't work. I'm going to hit him in the balls.
Right.
That one's a little iffy.
Yeah.
The other guy's pretty.
Yes.
But to me, the stars of this match, Randy Orton at this point, I am loving every single thing that he does.
We were talking all about how fucking good he is and how everything, like his timing is impeccable. Even during spots that are wrestling illogical, where it's like, oh, you're going to RKO this guy, you're going to RKO this guy, and then you're going to stand up and then you're going to turn around and you're going to take a finisher. And it's like, why would this ever happen? Why would you ever be in a spot where you're like, oh, there's 15 people out here, I'm going to turn my back and just look in a corner for no reason? He even makes that make sense.
He totally makes it make sense because it's a moment of pride. He got him and then connected with the crowd and then turn around real quick. Boom, the other guy hits him. So before he can realize it, or
he's so good. And
he does the middle rope DDT onto Jacob Fatu.
That was Jacob Fatu's the first thing that happened to him in all of WWE. That was like his first offense he took. That's great.
So
and then
he does that.
No,
and then he's doing the, like, I'm going to RKO him and can do this. And then he gets up and then going like, oh shit. All right. Well, that didn't work out. Like all that.
Yeah.
Those two are fantastic together.
I got something for you. They call Jacob Fatu the Samoan werewolf, right?
Yeah.
So you were referencing that this was the red version of the blood. This could be the werewolf pack.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Totally.
They could all start doing the werewolf pack instead of wolf pack.
Ooh. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, they make it go upwards like a tally. Yeah, there we go.
It's working out really well at this point. Having the separate bloodline, leading up to this, I mean, possibly scarier than anything that happened in the women's Money in the Bank match. Paul Heyman having to do the sit up for his life.
Oh my God. that
and being powerbombed through the table.
The crunch of all crunches on SmackDown or whenever it was, running it Raw last week. I don't remember. It was a while ago.
Because he doesn't take bumps. No. He doesn't take bumps at Mania. Like nothing happens for the trajectory and what a manager is at this time and what they've been through all the time. What Heyman is able to get away with and not have to do for him to go like, I will take a bump for all these guys. Like I will take a massive bump to solidify these guys.
Yeah.
Didn't do it for Roman.
It's incredible though that they have established themselves in such a way where when Roman comes back, I'm sorry, Cody, Roman's now the top babyface in the company. Like they've done such an insane job of telling this story and rolling this along. But anyways, yeah, I dug this match. This match was a lot of fun. It was really nice seeing Jacob Fatu. There was some botchy stuff with the other two guys. Yeah, the Tongans are like they're not quite there, but you know
they've had a bit of a rep from what I've heard in other places. It's like, yeah, they're not great, yeah. But then Jacob Fatu is like, oh, he's awesome, but everything they say about him is true, or it's dangerous.
Right. He's got. What did we watch? Oh, we watched over on the Watch Along series. We watched Daniel Bryan versus Kamala, and we referenced how Kamala has the best expressions, just like. Jacob Fatu gives him a run for his money. Like the expressions, Jacob Fatu has like permanent duck lips. I was noticing like his lips stick out straight. Right. And so when he's like, when he like makes a face, he looks like a drawing. He looks like a cartoon character and he's got the most expressive eyes. He's got that sort of Bray Wyatt, like they're dreads, but he's also balding, which kind of makes him look like a lunatic. Like, God, he's got such a fucking good look.
He's perfect. Had he been plopped down in the 80s, he'd have been perfect.
Right. Totally.
Because he's of that era. Just it's larger than life. Yeah. You believe him the second that he comes out and you look at his face. You go, that dude. I don't want to fuck with that dude. Some Steiner-esque qualities about it, where it's just like you could boo him and yell at his face as he's walking around and you're ringside, and then if he turns to you, you go,
never mind.
Okay. All right. I was just playing. I was having a fun time with the show. Why did you have to get all scary?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all in all,
it's fantastic. So
it was a fun match with a fun ending. Interesting that they again, Cody of all people took the pin, which I wasn't expecting. I really thought this was Cake. I thought KO was there to take this pin. I was like, oh, it's a good thing Kevin Owens is around because they'll pin him in Canada and he'll be like, yeah, whatever. But also, like, we didn't talk about like the promo. A KO about his parents on fucking SmackDown or his mom and dad. Like Kevin Owens was in his zone and I felt like it was very personal, which was like really helped, which was nice. Like there was just all these guys were firing on all cylinders. Most of these guys, let me say, not all, most of them.
Yeah, it was a little long for my taste. It felt long.
It was long.
But the first and third act, outstanding in this match. And like you said, the outcome of Solo Sikoa, who's coming into his own now, it's better.
Totally.
He's not there yet, but it's certainly better. Like him stalking more, I think, is a better way of going about things and being kind of a shit heel from time to time, ducking out. Like that suits him better than just being this unstoppable force. Because that's Jacob now.
And
Jacob can do that.
They do have a problem though now, and that is. They took away the mouthpiece of this group. And I feel like somebody needs to come along because I don't think Solo's bad. I don't think his promos are bad, but they're forgettable. They're wooden. Yes, wooden. That's a really great way to put it. They're very wooden. They're very forgettable. They're very like, he's just saying the words. Whether or not he believes them, I don't really know. There's nothing behind it. And I kind of feel like, I don't think any of the other three guys, maybe Jacob is, I don't know. But I feel like you took away Paul Heyman, which was one of the best things. That Paul Heyman is what helped the Bloodline really be what they were. And as much as Reigns got to that next level and, surpassed, I think, all of our expectations for him. He's still, it's like we talked about, like, the last thing Punk needs is a mouthpiece. Yet when Punk and Heyman are together, it just makes both of them even better because it's like we have two people.
And there's plenty of times when you can look at like Nick Bockwinkel didn't need Bobby Heenan, but it made it better.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes just to have more
So anyways.
With the chemistry of bouncing off someone, it just helps.
I do like the idea of a wise man coming in for them. I know there's a lot of speculation out there of who that could be.
Bobby Roode.
Why would it be Rude? And now why can't it be Rude? Because that's a great idea.
No, it isn't. It's not a great idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be Samoa Joe.
As the wise man? Why not just make him a fighter? Why not make him part of the group?
He's heavy set.
They're like, no, the wise man has to be someone who's not related by blood. Yeah.
By the way, we totally glossed over the fact that Tiffany Stratton won the Money in the Bank.
Oh, yeah, right. Tiffany Stratton won the Money in the Bank. It's Tiffy time, I guess.
And people were very happy about that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good fit for someone to be obnoxious and have that.
Absolutely.
So I think there were some very good outcomes overall to the show.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad show by any means. There was just there was something in the air that was a little off.
It's that Toronto smoke.
So anyways, let's get to it because we're going real long here. John Cena comes out and holds a towel.
His shirt, it's how every single thing on him is letting you know.
This is it.
We're wrapping it up, kids.
We're wrapping it up. It doesn't matter what you say. We saw your merchandise. He should have had an old shirt.
And it's available now to buy.
He should have had the old shirt on and then taken it off. It bothered me that the door was not centered on his back. It shows you how poor the printing processes are for WWEshop.com. It really bothered the shit out of me. It was like not centered. I was like, God damn it.
I didn't even know his lats are totally out of place.
So here's the thing. Is it for the last time my time is now? What's the saying that he's leaning into? I think it's for the last time my time is now.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
That makes sense.
His song starts with your time is up, my time is now. All you had to do was just replace the your with my time is up. Boom. There we go. You don't need to add more words to
your time is up, my time is nigh.
There we go. Sure. But I don't know. It was really mouthful. There was a lot of mouthful as far as the slogans. And on the back of it, it says like, after this, you can't see me or something like that. And the after this was in quotes for some reason. Did you notice that? Why is it in quotes?
No, I didn't notice that.
I mean, it's not.
But I thought after this, you can't see me. I'm like, no, I'm going to watch his movies and stuff that are really good.
No, he says he's disappearing and he's fading away. Like at the end of, You Can Count, or not You Can Count on Me. What's that movie called? God damn it. Well, children. Let's see here.
The children?
John Cena. Lean on Me.
Mystic River?
Lean on Me. John Cena retirement shirt. Let's see if I could find it.
$35.
So he comes out. Oh my God. Does he get paid by the minute? This motherfucker took forever. I'm sorry. I don't generally dislike hearing John Cena talk, but oh my God. I felt like this
what do you got against Cena talking?
This felt like it took 40 minutes.
That was the rest of the show. I thought this was something that was sad. I stifled my emotions in front of my cat.
Oh, you got a little emotional?
Yeah.
I didn't get emotional.
I mean,
all right, let's see here.
I go back to, and it's been talked to death about on the show. I saw him in UPW.
Right.
I saw him.
You love a John Cena.
In his indies, before he was doing John Cena anything. He was the prototype. Like I saw him in his rookie years and have seen him since, but it was watching him then, watching so many of those guys come out of there that came out of UPW. And then Fred and I, Steve Vanoni, we went to WrestleMania 19 and Cena didn't have a match. This is when he was supposed to do the wrap off, and they did it on the pre-show, whatever it was, Heat or whatever it was back then. And the story is that both rappers bailed because they heard Cena in rehearsal
and was like, he was too good, better than I thought he would be.
Yeah.
Right.
But we see Cena before that, because we're hanging out by the hotels, like getting autographs, nude photos and stuff. And Cena's just up and coming. Like the rap stuff was kind of going, but this rap that he does at 19 definitely started turning a lot of heads, and he became cool. So when we saw him and he was like, "Oh, hey guys, how's it going?" And he was chatty. And then we said, hey man, we used to go to those UPW shows. And he stops and he goes, guys, I am sorry you had to watch all those shitty matches. And then that moment, both him and I were like, for life, like this guy forever. Cause the acknowledgement of like, yeah, I was young. I didn't really know what I was doing.
Right.
And he was very nice and very supportive and just, he's always been a cool dude. Any of the times I've had interactions with him, whether at those shows, he came back, you know, when he started to make a name for himself and through compadres, like getting to chat with him and stuff.
Right.
He's a class act. And so, yeah, it felt real and it just felt kind of sad. I'm happy for all the success he's got and moving forward with Hollywood and all that stuff. But I was definitely bummed out.
Well, I'm sorry that you felt that way, but also, you know, I get it. I understand. I have his shirt pulled up on the screen here for us. That's why I'm leaning oddly because I feel like it's blocking our faces.
The last time is now John Cena farewell tour.
The last time is now. Yeah. And on the back it says, after this, in quotes, you can't see me for some reason. Tim Redbeard in the chat says, he's only retiring from in-ring competition. He will definitely still host and give AAs to the goofy heel character. I don't think so. Not according to the press conference, because in the press conference, he explicitly said, there will be no physical activity, no guest referees, no AAs, no, he says like there will be no physical contact. He will not get physical is what he claimed. I agree with.
He said after 2025, he's not going to be wearing jorts.
Yeah. He says he's retiring jorts or he's retiring freestyle. He says he's only wearing suits. He says like he is the character of John Cena is done and gone and he is not coming back. And he says that while he is happy to be like the brand ambassador person, there is no, so he says he's not going to be given AAs or doing none of that stuff. Tim Redbeard also does say
so
here.
Then Cody Rhodes can wear jorts after 2025.
Yeah. He can hand them off.
Because
what if
Cena's just going to do suits then?
Unless they decide to retire his jorts to rafters.
In every arena.
Yeah, in every arena. Anyways, all right, I'm going to take this off the screen now. But I just wanted to show the viewers here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand the quotes.
After this doesn't make sense. And also, the last time is now. My time is now. The last. I don't know. My time is up. Is would have been way
why
easier.
can't that shirtless guy have more time?
It's not great. It's not. We should have workshopped this for a while.
It should be him from behind doing the salute, and we see the bald spot,
right.
So we know, like, oh,
he's
that's
on his way out.
Cena.
Yeah, he's leaving. And the door on the background because he's closing the door on his career. That just looks like the APA door from the Attitude Era. Like it's so strange.
It's a standalone door.
It doesn't make any sense. Not a fan of the gear, but he comes out. He says it was very confusing because it sounded like
Nikki Bella. I'm sorry. This WrestleMania, let's get married.
What? I didn't hear that.
Oh, I was making a joke.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
So it was very confusing. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't follow it at first because it sounded like he was saying like, oh, he wants to have a match tonight. He's going to kick it off tonight. Like he wants to have a match here in Toronto. It was an important building. It was an important place. He wanted to do it. But then I was like, I thought, because he was like, oh, if any rosters want to come step up, come get to, I thought we were going to have an impromptu match with him and somebody.
That was the very end of the
Yeah, I know. And I thought that was going to be like, all right, we're going to have a match tonight. But anyways.
No. You were confused by this?
I just thought that they were going to have a match. I thought that he was going to wrestle somebody.
No.
But he does say that like there's all these historic firsts. Netflix is going to, Raw is going to be on Netflix for the first time. He's never done that. He's got all these things. He has this line of wrestlers he wants to compete with. It seems to me like, it's going to be a legit run. But then afterwards they clarified it was like 45 dates. Is that what they said? Something. Did you watch that?
He's basically acknowledging that he's going to be there for the calendar year.
Right.
Of 2025.
It's going to start with the Royal Rumble, which will be his last Royal Rumble. Whether or not he's in the Rumble or he's having a match at the Rumble. Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
So chances are he's going to show up to the majority of PLEs.
Right.
And other shows as well. So he's made it known in interviews and stuff previous to this that he says if WWE didn't have anything for him by the age of 50, I think he's like 46, 47 now, that he was just going to tweet like, I'm out.
Right.
Thanks. So I think he's been putting the pressure on them to acknowledge, like, you need to figure out something for me because I'm not going to just show up later when you then have an idea.
Right.
I'm going to wrap it up on my terms, whether you want it or not.
Yeah. He's not going to, like, the Taker story isn't going to work for him, where, like, he's going to get a call the night prior, like, hey, you want to be in the main event of WrestleMania tomorrow? What am I going to do? I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Like, that's not going to fly for John Cena.
Yeah. And I think he's calculated whatever it is with his team and gone like, all right, I'm going to take this year to wrestle and wrap it up. And so he's filmed whatever,
he's in the middle of
knocked out whatever, and then knows I can pick it up right afterwards. Right. If it's another Peacemaker season or what, I don't know. But this is pretty straightforward. I appreciated the fact they clarified that it was like people thought, oh, he's going to retire at WrestleMania. It's like, no, I'm not retiring at WrestleMania. I'm going to keep wrestling throughout the year.
WrestleMania, yeah.
And whoever shows up to wrestle. And then it was asked to Punk at the media scrum. Right. And he's saying he wants to go one more time. So I'm sure whoever can get that last match. And I think it's cool too for fans that they can figure out for the year, right? Do you want to go ape shit and then figure out at the end of the year, I'm going to try and see Cena's last match, right? Or he comes to my town, I want to see Cena one last time. That's good enough for me. That fans can figure out how they want to say goodbye.
Right.
Unlike you bastard.
Survivor Series, November. That's probably like the last pay-per-view of the year. That's what it is for this year, for 2024. So I'm trying to think if they do a similar, if they do a similar layout for this year and next year, the ending of 2025 could be Survivor Series.
Well, they've also been holding on to shows and holding on to what's being announced. They had just announced Bad Blood.
Yeah, and that's in October
at this show.
So anyways, yeah, it's interesting.
Does he retire?
Nobody retires in wrestling. A wise man named Scott Narver once said that. No, I think he does retire for a while. I do think he does commit to the bit. I think he does retire the character. He doesn't come in and do the fucking, guest referees. He doesn't do the AAs on the Raw anniversary show or the SmackDown. Like, I think he really doesn't do it for a while. Like, I think he ironically follows kind of the Rock path, where it's like he really was gone for quite a while, but then he comes back, and it's been a while, but he comes.
But the Rock never retired.
No, but
I think he'll go the Batista route. I think he'll say, "This is it, and I'm going to be done," and then he'll be done because he won't need to go back to it,
right?
Because he won't stay in wrestling. Like a Shawn Michaels will, right, where they can just constantly bug him every so often. Like, hey,
he's
buddy.
there. Like, he's there. Hey, you're here anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Stone Cold is like, hey, what are you doing? I got my cat Poncho. All right. But would you like $10 million? I think Poncho would.
You know how many toys you could buy for Poncho?
And Cena's working.
Yeah.
Cena's
working a
busy.
lot.
So that's why I think it'll probably stick, because by the time that if something dries up or he doesn't want to do it anymore, the cash isn't going to be a thing. No. It's so hard to foresee that there's some new prodigy, right, that there's some perfect person, right? Where it is like the idea of Stone Cold and CM Punk, where you go, oh my God, the antithesis of each other. It's a Batman and Joker situation. They got to wrestle each other. That there's someone that exists like that, there's an amount of money thrown down, or there's an arena or something that you go, we have to do this. You have to do this one more time for this. I don't know. I don't see it.
We got a visitor here for the live stream. We got a little bookstore Brown. He's very apathetic about John Cena retiring. He has not seen a lot of his career.
Sometimes I can't see him.
He doesn't understand the hype. Oh no! Where is he? Oh my God! He's such a fan of John Cena. He disappears. Oh, big yawn. Big yawn into the camera. Hi, bud. Oh, do you hear your mom in the other room? Look how cute this fucking dog is. Come on.
He's a dickhead to me. So
he's not a
doesn't work
dickhead to
on me.
you. He's just afraid of you.
Constantly.
He'll be nicer when we come back.
He snaps at me.
He doesn't snap at you. He barks. It's not snapping. When
There
has he
was snaps.
snapped at you? Campfire, he'll snap at you. Campfire will go for an ankle. But Bookster is not a snapper. All right, go get
Most
your
untrustworthy dog.
Go get her. Is there somebody on the roster that you really want to see Cena have a match with that he hasn't? That we assume he hasn't, or maybe hasn't.
I'm sure there's sign me up for Jacob Fatu and John Cena.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun.
You got to do Orton one more time.
Yeah, I feel like Orton is a given at least once. Punk would be something.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the quality of that match, to be honest with you. But I'm sure that, they always had such good chemistry. I'm sure they could find something work. Please no Rock. I don't want
that's
third time ever.
We're good on that.
Yeah, I don't want that.
For his retirement, I'd like it to be Baron Corbin.
You fucking better be.
Rack him up,
Yeah.
Corbin.
As far as like guys who he hasn't faced, or at least I don't think he's faced. I don't know.
Chad Gable.
Gable, but I think he faced Gable in one of the US Open challenges when Gable had long hair, and it was fucking great.
Yeah, but now he looks cool.
Okay. But Gable, that is one for sure. Gable is one for sure.
Braun Breaker.
Breaker is one. Gunther?
I mean, him and Cody just
Him
money
and Cody
sitting there on the table.
should have one. Yeah, they should fight at Tribute for the Troops 2025.
In a friendly exhibition. For America.
Team America. We didn't talk about Cody's outfit coming to the ring. And a night where we've seen Homelander blasted all over the thing. He's dressed in it, but it seems like they forgot to paint his shoulder eagles the same gold color as the rest of his outfit. So they just looked yellow. It looked awful. It looked like they didn't finish his gear.
I know you say like nobody thinks about this guy, the endorsements and everything, but it's wrestling and they're awful people. How do we make the women's match better for the Money in the Bank match? I know it's sponsored by The Boys. So the boys will be there for the women's match. So constantly it says The Boys everywhere.
It should have just been an image of the female, like that character from The Boys.
Oh. Gunther versus Cena, I would feel bad for Cena.
I don't.
But
that's one of those matches where I just feel like that's just to beat Cena up for a little while. Like, give them
there's probably other ways of going about it, but I think that's another one where if you want to solidify Gunther all that much more,
right,
and have Cena going on press tours talking about him, like you got to do it. You got to have Gunther in him.
Also, like any good run has a couple tag matches too. You know what I mean? Like, so there's definitely going to be a few of those. Like, let's get Cena and another popular current babyface to tag with. You know, that some of those could be really fun. I'm sure.
This shit's kind of happened forever. Where, in what you're talking about in the same vein, it's like if you could do it for some event somewhere, I don't know what, have one side is Cody, Cena, and Hogan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just do something where it's just like, look, here are the mega faces of the eras. Here right now, the Super America guys.
No Reigns.
No, he wears red shoes.
Oh, I get it.
He's a communist.
Okay.
No, Reigns will be a good guy eventually, but he's not currently.
What about Logan Paul? I don't like him. I don't want to see him on my TV anymore, preferably, but
yeah, that's a tricky one because with a lot of these other people, I'm thinking like what Cena can do and what he acknowledged in interviews when it came to what's that guy's name? So, not Trent.
Trick Williams? No, who are you talking about?
Who do you fight at WrestleMania LA? What was that dude's name?
I don't remember which one that was.
He was half the tag team champions.
Austin Theory?
With the Austin Theory.
Yeah.
So what he said, like, that's kind of what I can do in a match now. That's it.
Right.
When it comes to Logan Paul, it's like, I guess he can jump around me everywhere.
But I guess that's the idea. Is it like it's he's somebody else could do the bulk of the physicality maybe.
But that's still involving like catching him and being there and timing.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if that's in the wheelhouse anymore or if he's like, that's a lot.
What about Lashley? Did we ever get like a real Cena Lashley?
I know there's a 5-way.
Yeah, but I feel like they were like ships in the night all the time.
And there were 2 good guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we got that one either.
That one I'd be interested in. I mean, there are a lot. Some of the new guys I'm less like. Damian Priest, I just kind of don't care as much about some of the new people. Like Finn Balor, I know that they had, I'm sure they had 1 or 2 at some point. They had the cross paths. Drew, modern Drew McIntyre and him. I'm sure that they had
modern Drew would work. Yeah,
that would be interesting though. Yeah, there's listen, WWE is they're not short on talent by any means at the moment. As far as like the matches, like there's only so many. He can't wrestle everybody. That's going to be the interesting thing and see who kind of gets that rub. I wouldn't mind seeing him do. Who he could tag with if in a triple threat? Put him with New Day. Let the 3 of them tag.
Or Street Profits.
That's great too.
That'd be fun. And if Nick Aldis is going to wrestle anybody before Cena's gone.
Oh, that's the fucking one right there.
If he's ever going to throw on the tights and be an evil guy, let him fight Cena.
Oh, I can't wait for Cena almost. That'll be an interesting one. All right. We've gone really fucking long, Scott. We were going to take a hotline call or 2. Do you still want to, or do you want to save those for next week?
Your call. You're the producer of the show who keeps tight time.
Let's save those for next week. So we'll get your hotline calls next week.
We'll address Tim's question real quick. Tim right here says, does Cena win all those matches? Or maybe except for the final match?
No, because I guess it really depends on whether or not they're going to be telling stories, or this is going to be a just like he is wrestling this person, this event, and there's no storyline build up to it. It's just that's the card. If this is going to be like, it's just a bunch of Forbidden Door matches, essentially, then I think he does win most of them, except for maybe the last one. But if they're actually going to tell a story with him, he's got to lose, because that's, you have to put him under a couple people. Don't be dirty.
Is that how you phrase
Don't be fucking dirty.
Hey man, you got to go under some people tonight.
If someone goes over, then someone goes under. That's how it works.
You got to pull that switch. Yeah, I feel like it's a mixed bag that he will win and lose. It won't be he beats everybody up until that final match.
Right.
I think there are times when he still got it against somebody that wasn't their night, but then other times it's someone beats him to create the who knows what it's going to be, because we already know he's going out.
Right.
I would think a mixed bag, because he will probably advocate in large part like, I should just lose.
Right.
But not lose enough where there's no money to be drawn in the final matches.
Yeah, it's just he's smart. He's going to want to keep people guessing.
Yeah. For when he faces Dewdrop in the end.
Not Lyra Valkyria.
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Super long one. Once again, we'll get to the hotline calls next week. But if you want to call that line and leave a message, 747-666-5606. That's 747-666-5606. Or you can send a voice memo or any audio recording of your choosing to hotline@pwpalskis.com. I will say this is probably our last recording for a couple weeks. And so we might not get to any new calls from this episode on for a couple weeks now, because I'm going to be traveling and relocating again. So we're kind of up in the air. So just be patient with us, but still call and leave them, and we'll get to them eventually. Even if you feel like they're not pertinent, we'll come back to you for sure. So please call the hotline if you want to join us for these live streams and see all the cats and dogs. Once again, please consider becoming a patron. Every patron gets access to the live streams. It doesn't matter what your tier is. You can find all the information at patreon.com/pwpalskis. It's the best way to support the show. Gilbert Short, a.k.a. Goliathon, current PWP world champ. Acknowledge him. Record record-holding champion, his third consecutive month, longest reign in PWP history. If you want to be the one to dethrone him, you got to become a championship level Palski. And I think that'll do it. Scott,
You got the balls to do it?
I don't know. Last,
Do you?
Certainly not least, we need to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
Thank you to all of our current Patreon Palskis helping us to create extra content for all you guys and keeping the lights on wherever they may be, or putting gas in the cars for someone's federal witness relocation program that is ongoing.
Paying for some fucking U-Hauls.
So thank you. This is the only show that hands out maximum male model names as well as retribution names. Why?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No idea.
It's because John Cena's not going to do it. Fucking wuss. Thank you to AJ0314, aka Binary, aka Matrice69, Alex Pierce, aka Figs, aka Zitoys, Andrea Beeler, aka Pollen Hate, aka Achu Detest, Curtis Mason, aka Hurtus, aka Auche, Gilbert Short, aka Goliathon, aka Batal Underoos, aka the current and ongoing unstoppable champ, PWP champ. If you got the balls, try and stop him. I dare you. Mass Llama, a.k.a. Spitz, a.k.a. Jakara Lover. Michael Beltran, a.k.a. Limestone, a.k.a. La Natural. Miguel Diaz, a.k.a. Bipod, a.k.a. Too Much Husk. Suicide, a.k.a. a.k.a. Tim Bemis, a.k.a. War Trek, a.k.a. Tussle Quest. Tim Redbeard, a.k.a. Blood Fuzz, a.k.a. Blue Devuse. Tom Hader, a.k.a. Cupid, a.k.a. Cherub, and Tony Griggs, a.k.a. Big Griggs, a.k.a. Grand Grisois.
Thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support of the program. Once again, just a heads up to all the diehards out there, it's going to be a strange few weeks ahead for me as we're kind of up in the air with some move stuff. So please just bear with us. We're going to do the best we can to get you as much of all the PWP goodies that you're used to. But if there's a week or two where, not much is happening, check out the Discord, because that's where all the information will be. If you're not in the Discord, it's completely free. It has nothing to do with Patreon. It's just its own super fun community. Please consider joining it. You can find the link to that Discord at pwpalskis.com, where you can find the link to everything, including our shop. Snag yourself some merchandise, another great way to support the show. That'll do it. Scott Narver, say goodbye to the people.
And John Cena is on the Fair World Tour 2025. Jake is on the Coming Back to California Tour.
Yeah.
2024.
It's not really a tour.
So
it's like a very brief one-way trip, I feel.
Yeah, but you got some pit stops in between. Like, you're not just heading back to California right away. So this is the process.
All right. I'll respect.
So I'm letting people know, like, we're in the process now.
Yes.
He's on his way back to California.
It is happening. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hope you had fun. Always a blast hanging out with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, thanks for listening to Dragon Wagon Radio. If you're enjoying this show, check out DragonWagonShop.com and get yourself some sweet merch while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. That's DragonWagonShop.com.
It's Dragon Wagon.